Can you see us on Twitch?
Nope.
Huh? No?
Nope.
Because it says we're live.
There we go.
You see us? Or you see the commercial?
Commercial. Well, I saw you for a split second, then I saw the commercial. Oh, Jesus.
There's those doggies.
Teddy, shush. Oh, I bet that means they can hear me now too, huh?
Possibly. Okay, so we have sound. Got voice and video. So now... Twitch, do we still have voice and video?
No.
No?
Well, no video. I don't know if we have sound because I haven't muted.
Do you have my...
And you're back.
Okay, so you got my picture of the dimension?
I did for like 15 seconds,
Okay,
but
good.
now I see you.
Oh. You're invisible.
I'm invisible?
Uh-huh. That's not you, that's me.
The way I look to you right now is how you look to me most of the time whenever I sneak into your dimensions while you're working.
Oh.
What?
Why are you sneaking in there while I'm working?
Because I'm a creeper. That's what I do.
Okay. Yeah. Sparkling says creeper's got a creep. Yep.
Oh, so we're fully live now.
Yeah, we are fully live now.
Okay. Hey guys,
we
I'm a
conquered
creeper.
we conquered the gremlins. Let me tell you how glad I am that Divas should be filming next week. Yes. Means I can sit here and twiddle my thumbs and everything else.
Sit here and file your nails and buff them like I do.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started. Hello, everyone. This is Feendish with Dimension Touring, and of course, of course. Okay. This is Feendish with Dimension Touring, and welcome to episode 3 of Tips and Tricks Live. With me today is Alan I at Wolfsbane. I would say wave, but you're invisible on my screen, so just say hi.
Slash wave.
And as far as Dimension news goes, there was nothing put out on the forums this week for Dimensions. Everyone's still working on 4.0. The Garden Gazebo contest ended. Winners were announced, so congrats to all the winners. The entries were truly, truly amazing. I did enjoy touring a lot for this one. So without further ado, we are going to get started.
Don't you huff at me, woman. You couldn't see me.
Maybe I didn't want to see you.
Oh, oh, oh.
Okay, so I have a bunch of stuff set up in here, and some of this stuff is meant to be used with custom pivot, and some of it you actually don't need custom pivot. You can just do what I call spinning, which is basically a normal rotational offset of a pretty small amount. Now, I'm not going to pretend to be some kind of expert about custom pivot. Sailor actually showed me how to use it in the first place, because I just didn't get it. But once you get it, it's really easy to figure out. And sometimes you don't need custom pivot because of where a selection point might be, like on these corner posts. These are just spun out. So where do you think we should start, Al and I?
Oh, I thought we agreed that I wasn't going to talk this show.
No, you're going to talk.
Probably with stairs, because I think the stairs
Stairs?
was the easiest. Yeah, at least for me to learn.
Yep, and stairs is something that I get a lot of questions about. How do I make some spiral stairs? And it's actually really easy. I have a set made here, already done. Um, you don't have to do it that way. You can do it however you want to. Remember, this is always just going to be the way I do things, not necessarily the way that works best for you. So you can do this one piece at a time, or you can do a multiple item. Or I'm going to do a multiple item. I'm going to make them a little bit larger so it's easier to see. So I'm going to do the stair. I'm going to do a riser.
So you're going to want to start with a plank that's the size you want your steps to be.
Yep, already just...
So you have to figure that part out first.
Yeah, you're going to want to figure out, like, where is it going and where does it need to go. And for the rest now, I always try to do this stuff with no math. Just because there seems to be a big misconception a lot of times that with add-ons, you have to be some kind of math whiz. And you really don't. So there's going to be some trial and error involved. But I've got the stair, the riser, and then later on especially we'll need this piece here to just kind of block it off and make it look a little pretty. I want to set it down a little bit so that it's not too tall for me to walk on.
You mean the end cap piece there?
Sure.
Jesus, you're fast. So it's three planks per step.
3 planks per step.
Okay.
And then we'll add the pole and another plank later, because the railing uses a different rotation than the stairs itself. So I've got this pole here, and now normally if you're trying to make stairs from planks, it's a real problem because you got where the selection point of a plank is, which is kind of in the middle. It's in the middle and on the bottom, but you can't really tell that from where the arrows are sitting. So if I say I just want to raise it up to 5 and set a rotation of a 6-degree step, now I'm going to end up with a double helix. So what this pole here is going to do is it's going to set a point where everything is going to pivot around it. I'm just kind of
So
like,
instead of rotating from the center, it's going to rotate from the side.
yes.
Okay.
Kind of like clock hands, you got that thing in the center that holds it in position, and the clock hands rotate around that point. That's the best way I can make the analogy in my head.
That makes perfect sense.
Okay, so I'm going to select custom pivot. I've got my planks down. I'm going to try a 6-degree rotation. You might think, wow, that's a narrow rotation, and it is. Because here it's going to be real close in, but out here at the end, that's where the width is going to come out. So I'm going to pick that pole. I just want to copy everything here. And I'm going to hit copy.
And you're going to want to have custom pivot selected.
Yep, got to have custom pivot selected. Copy, and now since I'm not making a full circle, I actually want to leave all this stuff here. So then I'm just going to hit paste. And you have to make sure you set that height offset. For stairs, oh, I forgot to put copies in. That's brilliant. We'll just say 15 up. And then you let it go. mean, you would. Sparkland says the 6 degrees will be seen further out. Yes. Um, Stairs almost always have a narrow rotation just because you don't want that big gap at the end, because I've fallen through um, more more stairs, and then you get stuck, and then you get mad, and then you leave and you don't come back. So this feature kind of had the self built. I don't understand that question.
Me neither. I was just not going to mention it. No offense,
So
Sparky.
so even at 0.25, I'm sitting here bouncing a lot on these stairs. So I would normally set it at 0.2 if it was something for one of my builds, but that makes these really kind of item intensive. And then for the railing, I'm going to set the railing here, and I'm just going to copy and paste what I've already done. I can also do this in either piece by piece or by two hands, or by two at once. And if I'm really just trying to work something out for the first time, I'll do it one item at a time, even though it might take longer, just because. So the pick point is actually going to stay the same, so we don't need to do anything there. We will need to cut the number of copies down in half, because I'm not going up every step. Also, since I'm not going up every step, my rotation doubles. And then my height offset also doubles. So I don't need to pick anything else. I just need to copy these and then paste. Like I said, there's some trial and error that goes into it. I made these a little bit bigger than I did the other set. So let me get rid of that. Make this a little bit bigger. There we go. And then try. Because even if you, say, mess it up, and I put that in quotes, it's no big deal because it doesn't take that long to replace it. And then all I have to do is just get rid of that end piece, unless I have a railing at the top. And then, of course, you would want to fine-tune this here, this railing piece, to where it lines up to where you want it to be. But even so, this is still going to take a whole lot less time than if you're doing it plank by plank. What I was trying to ask is for it to place more than an item at a time normally. Yes, when he did the, I can't remember what update it was, but he put a multiple item copy and paste in. And that multi-item copy and paste works for custom pivot. It works for everything. You just have to put this copy and rotate all three pieces of the steps. Yes, because then it takes it, you'll notice that when you have multiple items selected, it moves a selection point somewhere. Yeah, we're on update 1.2.2, Sparkland. The most recent change is where you can manually, change in this little text box here what your offset rotation or your flicker reduction offset is. And then the tribal magic window changed to a slider that you can just even mouse over. But that's the newest update. But with the multi-item copy and paste, you can select multiple items and then it'll move it as a single unit and copy it as a single unit. So do we have any questions about stairs? And if I want to mirror these stairs, then pretty much all I have to do is the exact same thing except going in the other direction. Nope. Lynx is there. He asked if the new tribal magic blew up yet, and no, it has not. I was just using it a lot in a build I finished a couple days ago.
So by going in the opposite direction, you're saying just make it a negative number, right?
Yes.
Okay. And leave all the values the same. Just make it negative.
Yeah. Let me move it. So instead of a plus, it's a minus. Go back to 15. And make sure I got all my extra planks. Yep. And man, some people's kids.
What? I didn't say anything this
No,
time.
I did.
Oh, I've been good.
My pick point moved. I'm gonna tell you, I went to bed at like 8:30 last night.
You got too much sleep. That's your problem.
Is that it?
Mm.
Yeah. Okay, so there we go.
It's actually a really good question.
How do you update Tinker Tools? There's two places you can go. It is on curse.com, and then he's got the master zip on GitHub. I think that's how it's pronounced, and that's usually where I get mine from. The other night he posted in DA chat that it was ready to update, and when you go to Curse and find Tinker Tools on Curse, it updates just like any other add-on. You don't lose any of your sets. You don't lose anything that you've kept, or at least I haven't. I don't know if other people have had issues with it, but I have not.
I noticed when I was uploading for Kit's little giveaway, when I was playing around with all the selection options, it actually had my sets from the old add-on, just Dimension Tools, and there's a drop
Yes.
down for that.
And so there we go. And it did not take long at all to make mirrored stairs. And of course this assumes that there's something like a wall or whatever in the middle here, so you're not hiding, so I'm not hiding this piece right here. And it's really just, I mean, I used to have a set of spiral stairs saved in Toolbox because I made them once from planks, and I was like, never, ever, ever again to do all that lining up of the edges. And that works for other things too. Like my sink, or what what Alan and I called my sink.
Oh, the big old sink you got.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my
the
big old
fancy
sink.
one. Looks a little like a claw bathtub.
Yeah. So I'm gonna show you how to make the sink.
Oh, you're feeling generous today.
Yeah. Well, I said it wasn't going on DA, but it is. I will show people how to do it. I did make a set from Tessier says I use corner posts for spiral stairs. That's what this set here is. So we're going to go into how to make that bathtub. And this is also sized a little bit bigger so it's easier to see. I'll go into first person view. I'm going to pick it. I'm going to copy this plank here that's set to a 60-degree rotation. And because I worked it out earlier, I know that it's 9. 9, and then 40 times 9 is 360. Because when you're making anything circular, that's your largest number that you're going to have to deal with is 360. I don't need this plank because I'm making a full circle. So I'm going to remove it and then hit paste. Because normally when you have angled planks like that, they're also going to intersect where their selection points are. So making something like this with custom pivot is helpful. And let it go. Oh, was that it? She sent me a tell and told her there was a present for me in my building den. Well, I didn't find it.
What? Oh, that's why I got the dot dot dot.
Yeah.
I giggled about that all day and you didn't even see it?
No.
Ugh.
Oops. So now I want to find the pieces pretty much straight up and down. 180, 120, that one. And then I want to find the next one, that one. So this is where it's going to get, whoa, I don't know what happened there. Okay, so from that point, I'm going to stand right in front of it. Then I'm going to select basically half of the circle. And pull it however far apart that I want to set it. Then I'm going to take these two. I'm going to get rid of all this stuff. Copy and paste those. And then should be -60. There we go. Move it in position. If it's not right, then it's close enough. I know that I'm an angle 60 off. I did not want that one. I wanted that one. Well, I'm just having all kinds of a bad day. Okay, and then you're going to take the sides. You want a plank at the same thickness. And line it up. Well, see, I have tried the 180. Prickly says I would have done 180 instead of 360 and ended up driving myself nuts. That's why I don't have a lot of luck getting half circles. It's easier for me to do the full circle and then break it in half. I mean, everyone is going to do, my way is by far and away not the only way. So you got to do what's more comfortable for you. That's not right. And then when it comes to some of these offsets here, okay, so I know that's right.
So what are you doing? Is this stuff we should be doing as well when we
No,
build
you
this?
don't have to. That was using, because you can offset an angle, and I jacked up one of my angles here. Of course, it worked perfectly well when I was not filming anything. But if you're wanting to, but if it doesn't line up exactly right, it's too easy just to select everything and make some small adjustments. Well, that one, I've screwed this whole thing up. But that's it. That is, and then you do the exact same thing that you did over here. On the other side, all you'd have to do would be to put a minus in front of, not that one, because you're still, well, yeah, it would be that one. Put a minus in front of those numbers, and then you would just go up the opposite way and make the other side. And then he did change. I know I used the offset calculator. He did change it to where it'll offset for things that are rotated in an axis. Wow, there's the fish. Get your fish.
I contributed.
He did fix it so that now you can figure an offset for something that's on an angle, which I really like. In this right here, you don't even have to type in all those numbers. You can just use it to type, to transfer it to that screen for you.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and watch this. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, it's the way you do it. You would make this the whole circle, make the whole circle here as a step by step. Make this whole circle here at the angle you want, then break it in half to come up with the width that you want. Use your offset calculator because you want the planks to match the end in thickness, so you don't have to do a whole bunch of fiddling around trying to line it all up right. And then you want this angle to be the same angle out, so that it looks right. You can use the offset calculator, and if you're not sure which transformed axis it is or which transformed offset it is, just, basically push random buttons until you find the right one.
I can do that.
Yay. I mean,
That's probably what I will do.
I tell you what, back when I learned Toolbox and to an extent this one, now there's a little question mark right here that's got the help menu on it. You think I ever once looked at that?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, see, I never looked at it either.
Oh, oh! Oh, look at that fanciness right there.
And so that's how I learned a lot of this, and so a lot of it I've either missed how to do it or just have never learned. But he has actually put a lot of work into updating the help here, so that it covers, most of the functions.
Pretty much, Prickly.
She's like a dude. I didn't read the manual. I guess that does make me like a guy. I guess I learn better hands-on. So I learn better by doing instead of by watching. Especially watching, I can't learn that
She's
way.
stubborn like one, too.
Yeah, whatever. So now, say I don't want to spend all those items to make a spiral stair that way. I just want to use a corner post. Wow, that was interesting. Let's try that again.
Did you fall up your own stairs? Please tell
No.
me you fell up. Oh.
No. I'm going to use a wood corner post. And for this, I just need copy and paste. I'm going to set my height. Now these corner posts, with their selection point being on the end, that makes them a whole lot easier to just do it. Wow.
Wait, what?
A direct copy and paste on. I'm like, I was pushing my
25.
Yeah. And also, corner posts tend to snag a lot less than something straight edge like uh, a plank. So now this one also, yeah, yeah, I typed a whole bunch of stuff by accident, prickly. So I do want to. Oh, this is not going to be a positive. It's going to be a negative because I want to go this way. And even with these, you can see that 6 is still too wide. I mean, it's not where anyone would fall. But if you don't want that gap there, you should probably make that a 5. And I don't need to do anything else if I'm just changing one or two things.
I mean, I guess if you wanted that look, you wanted the width in between them, you could always throw an invisible
Yeah.
tile in there.
You can. Well, I mean, normally if I'm making straight edge stairs, I'm going to put an invisible tile on it anyways. Just because that really bugs me when I catch on stairs. And if I fall on stairs, then, I, oh my
She
god.
rage quits. That's it. I'm out of here. I'm never coming back.
Well, I guess that makes me like a dimension snob, but it's annoying because it's really immersion breaking. Um, if you go visit someplace and it's obvious that somebody worked hard on it, but the stairs are broken. Okay, there we go. And the stairs were a custom pivot thing. The sink is a custom pivot thing. You love my snobbery. And in another way, I'm just gonna do this one real quick because this is a lot of fun. This is the last thing we're going to do with custom pivot. I'm not going to uh, make everybody sit through remaking this arch again because it's basically just a normal arch. Mostly if I'm doing arches, I'm not using custom pivot at all. I'm just doing like a rotation, copy and paste, and then manually move it in position. But for this one, we are going to use custom pivot. I want 30 copies, 12 degrees. I'm going to pick this pole. Select all these again because I went out of order. I got 12. Copy, and since I want to go a full circle, I'm going to pull them up. And then we're going to paste. And now this would be if I was... Uh, we're going to make cones today, Jade. Because I mean, this was more like spinning and custom pivot. Um,
That really confused me. I was like, oh my god, we made cones?
yeah, I made some conical stuff. But right now, normally if I'm making this like this dome, like if I was making this dome, I would normally be AFK right now. I'm not gonna lie. I would be out like getting a sandwich, having some coffee, talking to the neighbors. It doesn't actually take that long
Wait, how did we go from an arch to a dome?
because I already had the arch made.
Oh, oh I was thinking it was going to be like a doorway arch.
Yeah. No. But yeah, I mean, the fun thing is I would say like always, experiment, play around, see, uh, what works for you, how it works best for you. Um, because everyone's going to make arches different. Everyone's going to do whatever, make their stuff differently. And I'm not going to tell somebody, hey, you have to do it this way. I have the trophy domes too, Tasiara, but sometimes they don't cut it. Because like when uh, during one of the contests, I used the Taj Mahal for a model, and that the trophy domes and things like that did not, um, they don't match. And I really wanted to try to get that shape.
Did you click this to make an entire dome?
It's going to be 360 items.
Good lord, woman.
So it does take a couple minutes.
All right, so potty break and oh, it's great planning.
No, no. See if this would be a good time if somebody has a question to ask it, because I've got time to answer it. And I mean, this is just a good way to demonstrate something that's possible to make. I mean, you're not going to manually sit here and make this dome, or at least I'm sure somebody would, but I'm not. I'm going to figure out
So
how to
I
make
have
Tinker Tools do it
questions.
for me.
Can I ask questions? I know I'm supposed to know what I'm
Sure.
talking about, but
Ask
I'm pretty
questions.
much clueless. So the size of the dome, is it based on the size of the cubes you use?
Yes, because each rib, remember I had that one rib that I started with.
Oh, it's called a rib?
Well, I
It
don't know.
has its own technical name?
I call it a rib. So that rib ended up becoming a single piece when I selected it all.
Okay, so you copied all of that at once, or selected all of that at once.
Uh-huh. I picked that pole right there so that the whole thing would pivot around this pole. And then copied that first rib, and then hit paste on a 12-degree rotation. So with 12 times 30 is 360.
Okay. So does the gap between where the first rib is and the pole does that gap make a difference?
Not that I could find when I was testing this out. I probably made this dome about 10 times, sometime trying to find a rotation that I could live with.
So would if that rib was pushed up against that pole, would you still end up with the same dome?
No, it's gonna it's gonna change here and there. Now I have all of them selected. Now keep in mind that you're not going to move that with the default client. It's just not going to happen, and you're not going to pick it up with the default client with it all selected like that. You will crash.
So don't be trying to drag it with those arrows.
Right. But because normally I would set a position and then uh, just leave it there. Now, if I want to move it, let's say 5. I want a relative. And it'll take long enough that it will almost give you a heart attack. And that's it.
You don't want to be too far away from any objects you do this with. I learned that the hard way on the gazebo.
Yep.
That if you're just, I guess I don't know if it depends on your graphics capabilities, but I was just a little too far trying to move the gazebo once, and it got all jacked up.
Yeah. That's it. And then now manually I would have to come through here and start picking out the excess, because at the rotation is set. Let me hop on my table here. When you're making stuff like this, you want to set the rotation so that there's no gap. Like, I don't want any gap here at the widest point of the curve. So what I come up with is up here, there's a whole lot of excess and overlap, and I can probably pull half of the cubes that are up here at the top, because no one can see that anyways. But that's just something fun. I play around with stuff like that, and I use wood just because it's cheap. Um, it's cheap to make, and you can have it in quantity, and it doesn't matter. Now, like this is an old school dome. What we used to make. Throws. Yeah, I wish you were throwing plat at me.
Get
Um,
the dancing. Have we moved on from the cube dome now?
yeah, it's done. It's
Okay.
done. I've moved it. Um, I wasn't gonna try to pull it up all in one piece because um, yeah, about that. Yep, the old school dome is Necropolis arches, and you don't need a custom pivot for this, and it's a whole lot less items. And now I like Necropolis arches um, because the selection point is actually in the center. So if you make a dome with these, and then you decide that you need a like a like a distance indicator anywhere around there, all you gotta do is just copy and paste off of one of these arches, and you got it. And I'm just gonna not use custom pivot. I'm gonna multiple offset multiple. I'm going to try 12 degrees. Do those ever come in minion boxes? Which ones? Necropolis arches? I think they do. Maybe. I know the trophy items don't. I honestly don't know if Necropolis arches come in or not. I've had like 3 or 4 stacks of these ever since I think free to play went live. And I use them, and then I pull them up, and then I use them again, and I pull them up. So that was it. That's how the easy way to make an arch or a dome that's not a trophy dome or anything. And the inside of this actually looks pretty cool. And then you can just like throw a light up there and say ta-da. And then of course if you want to get rid of this edge here, if you want to hide this edge, you would need to
Ooh.
increase the number of items that you use. Like I usually use like 30 if I'm using a 12-degree rotation, and there's some overlap, but it makes this a nice smooth edge here instead of having these gaps. Whew. Then a lot of this other stuff that's out here is stuff that's also really cheap. So I think Jade wants to talk about cones. So you can do this cone, say a cone like this. This is planks. Um,
And this is spinning or custom pivot.
I'm going to spin it out because
Okay.
you don't really need to. I mean, you can custom pivot it. Let's just. I'm just going to do it an easy way here. And yeah, um, Jade says, okay, so you just set the angle and spin it. Had no idea it was that simple. Yes. Um, some things, it's not. Like, if I'm making a cone out of, say, 6-prong idles, I'll usually do the two-piece copy and paste like this. and then hand rotate them. Same thing with like gravestones, but for this, I set the rotation, I set 12 degrees, 15 copies. So it's actually going to drop 30 planks, but 15 copies. And then with where the selection point is and the way that planks overlap, it's going to end up working about right. Ta-da! No, the top doesn't get funky just because of the way that it's still rotated out. Um, so that was it. It's real easy to make conical shapes, stairs. I mean, I love to experiment with things like spinning and now custom pivot, trying to see what we can do. Alejandra has made spheres. I haven't taken the time to work out how those were done, um, so that's entirely my fault. And I mean, unless I'm making the Death Star, I don't understand why I would need a gigantic sphere anyways. Yeah, well, if you're going to use only one plank, Jade, you'd want to use a custom pivot just because then you're going to set yourself that rotation point. Like if I'm using corner post, because this is just spun out. The only thing is like, this takes a whole lot more. Let me try that again. Because of where that selection point is. If I try to do a 12-degree rotation with corner posts, like this cone here is 60. It's 60 corner posts to make it nice and tight down at the bottom. Just because these things are kind of weird. But that's how easy it is with even a corner post. Yep, Cerebro. I think somebody made Cerebro in a... I think somebody made Cerebro in a dimension, but I can't remember which one. Or something like Cerebro.
I need to find that.
Yeah, it's been another rough week at work, so I'm kind of like bleh right now. And then this also, if you screw up a rotation, then it doesn't matter. It's real easy to just change a number and then add more copies and pull it up and just hit paste again. That's it. That's how easy that is. And then like these chairs here. Because chairs can make some of the neatest stuff, and not even cheap, not even expensive chairs. These are small maple chairs. I think they're, what, $1 off the store? So, like, let's just say, because I always just tend to like 15. Yeah, custom pivot is awesome. Because I was looking at these chairs here, and I set two of them at an angle and then did a thing, and I was like, wow, that could make... This is upside down from the way it originally was, and it was like, wow, that would make a really cool, like... If I was morphing a person, that would make a really cool skirt. But if I don't like that, then I can just change it to, say, a different axis, see how that turns out. I mean, spinning can take a lot of items, but not sure why I did 25. But you can literally spin anything. And then, let's see this. I've had a lot of questions about this over the years. This is an elegantly styled vase. I think, how much are those off the store? I don't know. They're less than a platinum. Uh, but if I turn it upside down,
Yeah, 80 gold.
okay, 80 gold. Yep. A long time ago, I did make a chandelier with those chairs. That I think I just tore that one down and got rid of that dimension entirely because I want to put my wedding cake thing in something else. I still haven't made it yet. And that's it. You spin that out into a really cool little urn vase thing. Yeah, you can untick new items. Um, and then you can take one of those chairs. Let's say 30. There we go. Yeah, when you use toolbox, that was what you used to just do, was change the rotation and repaste it. Then somewhere along the way I got spoiled. I don't know how that happened. It's like, what? You manually place the item and then paste it? No way.
Back in my day,
Yeah. So that one could have used some more items. Actually, oh, because shoot, never mind.
your thinking out loud is confusing me.
My thinking out loud is confusing me too. Yep, spinning everything.
I know me as like, and now I know what I'll be doing the rest of the evening, spinning everything. You know what? I was thinking whether or not I should admit that when Diva taught me this a few months ago,
Mm-hmm.
that was like all I did for the next day.
Yeah.
Like I just kept trying to find multiple copies of stuff and spinning it. Oh, I was just like, just a fat kid with cake, giggling and happy. Then I had to go back and clear out all these sets. I ended up with like 10 or 11 sets, and I named them all like, first spin, second spin, really cool spin, cool ass spin, best spin.
And not know what any of them are.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, I mean, it's all, again and again and again, I say experiment and see what works best for you. And that really is the truth. Um, you have to experiment and see what's best for you because, you may want to try, I don't know what, but say you want to make the Death Star, you know. I'm sure that the theory of making a full sphere from, say, squares is exactly the same as it would be to make this dome from cubes. You would just, like, say, make one rib. Um, what is the tall thing? These are six-prong idols, Prickly. It's a double stack. Um, one is right side up, one is upside down. But that's all it is six-prong idols. And because six-prong idols are uh, one of my favorite items, and not just because they're super cheap. But yeah, You can do so much stuff with 6-prong idles. In fact, I'm sure next week when Diva and I are doing the road show on my dimensions, we'll be looking at a lot of 6-prong idles. Oh boy. Don't want to kick her while she's down.
I'm watching you.
Hey, steal away. I mean, there's no. I mean, these are not like real hard morphs or anything. There's nothing, not as far as I'm concerned, there's not even anything to steal because anyone could come up with this. Yeah, that's the downside to any kind of spinning. Um, is is their item hogs. It's always an item hog, no matter what. So I guess it's just all in where you're wanting to sacrifice, um, space to the item limit. Yeah, item count management does have to be part of the planning. I would think that would apply to any kind of build. Um, so are there any last questions about either custom pivot or spinning stuff out? Because it is something that is really easy. And it's actually one of the funner things to do, in my opinion, um, just to see what you can make because we have so few round things. Yep. Well, the latest version I know is on GitHub. I'm not sure if it's on. Um, yeah, about the math. I've made it my goal for every guide, for every video guide, and now for these live streams to do it with pretty much no math. I mean, coming up whatever divides into 360, that's pretty basic math that we all learned at some point in school. Um, yeah, I see you're playing with the fish back there.
I'm trying to contribute to the spinning stream.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and explain. There is a link to it on DTC. I've got on the Tinker Tools guides. I have custom pivot guides. Um, not I didn't touch too much on spinning. I don't think. I know I did a little bit during the video guides. What are you doing?
Fuck!
It's
I'm making
polynomials.
something.
Okay, I'm just gonna pull that up and we'll do the stairs one more time. I'm gonna do it without. Well, I'll explain how to do the railing too. But we'll go ahead and because we do still have a couple minutes, and this actually does not take a long time, at all.
Looks like I made an 8-headed monster. That's actually pretty sick.
So I'm gonna make the step. A riser, and then she gave me the technical term of the end cap.
You're welcome for that.
Thanks. Oh.
It's another tip and trick there. If two people are in the same dimension trying to build, it's not going to work because everything one person selects in Tinker Tools, the other person automatically selects.
Actually, well, if you get some distance, side thingy was previous term. Yes, it was.
But I like being close to you.
Okay, so I've got a pivot point here with this pole. It's all going to pivot around that pole. I'm not doing any kind of precision alignment or anything, and I never have making any of these stairs. So I'm going to select all 3 items. I'm going to go 6, a rotation of 6. I'm going to come up 0.25, and I'm going to make 15 copies. Now, actually, I want to sink that down just a little bit more. Since I'm not making a full circle, I want to leave this bottom step in. Copy that, and then paste. What the hell did I do?
I don't know. I'm looking at my fish.
I think you did something to screw me up.
I'm talking in chat. You know what? We're gonna fight about this later.
Yeah, you
I
did
didn't touch
something to
anything.
me.
I was talking in chat on a completely different screen.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. I
Alright,
want a
I'm
divorce.
gonna try that. You want a divorce, huh?
Want a divorce.
Alright, there we go. Let's try that again. There we go. Thank you for not touching anything. So there it is, turning out the right way. I think I forgot. Yeah, I probably did forget to. Oh, uh, yeah, I was still had the pole for the dome selected as the pivot point. So there, I'm sorry I blamed you.
Hmm. You better buy me some jewelry.
You know what? I'm not gonna buy you is any more than damn fish.
I got plenty of those.
And then to make the railing, if you're going to add a railing, unless you want the railing to go up each step, which is entirely possible. I mean, but not likely just because of it's so item hoggy. And yeah, that's a technical term too.
I like how your IQ drops the longer you're in Skype with me.
Thanks for that.
It's all item hoggy.
And then I'm just manually rotating this to try to follow the contour of the stairs. Not so now I can leave my pivot point the same. Oh, I want to increase that to 12. Increase that to 0.5 and cut that in half. And then I would just need to come over here and get rid of this. And of course I could fine tune all these rails. And that's it. And that is custom pivot and plane spinning. And so I hope you all have fun experimenting. I'm looking forward to seeing some really neat stuff in days and weeks ahead. Next week, the DTC Roadshow is back. And it's episode 50.
And we're touring Feendish's bills.
Yes,
Did you guys hear me clapping?
we're touring mine. Way to spin out those fish.
See, I was paying attention.
Yeah. And so we will see everyone next week, and thank you for tuning in.
Can I pick up my fish now?
Yes, you're gonna pick.
Are you
fish.
sure?
Yes.
You gonna bite me?
No.
Okay.
Have a good weekend.
Are we still going?